Confucius was traveling in crime when the people of Wei surrounded him in layers. Yet Confucius kept playing his zither and reciting texts. Zulu entered and asked, "Master, how can you be so cheerful?" Confucius said, "Come, let me tell you. I have long tried to avoid hardship, but I never could. That is fate. I have long sought success, but I never achieved it. That is timing. In the age of Yao and Shan, there were no destitute people, not because they were all exceptionally wise. In the age of Ji and Er, there were no successful people, not because they were all stupid. It was simply timing. The fisherman's courage is to not flee from dragons in the water. The hunter's courage is to not flee from rhinos and tigers on land. The warrior's courage is to face sorrows and see death as the return. The sage's courage is to know that poverty is fate, to know that success is timing, and to face great danger without fear. Silu, just be at peace. My fate is to be constrained." Not long after, the commanding officer entered and apologized. "They mistook you for Yan Hu, so they surrounded you. Now we know you're not him. Please forgive us, and we'll withdraw." Gongsun Long asked Wei Mu, "When I was young, I studied the ways of ancient sage kings. When I grew up, I understood benevolent conduct. I can unite differences and sameness, separate hardness and whiteness. I can call wrong right and make the unacceptable acceptable. I can baffle the 100 schools and silence the best debaters. I thought I was the most enlightened, but now I've heard Zhuangzi's words. I'm completely lost. Is my debating skill inferior? Or my knowledge lacking? I can't even open my mouth anymore. Please teach me." Wei Mu leaned on his desk with a deep sigh, then laughed. "Have you never heard of the whale frog? It said to the sea turtle, 'I'm so happy. I jump around the whale's ring, rest in broken bricks. When I jump in, water holds my chin. When I step in mud, it covers my feet.' Looking back at the little worms, crabs, and tadpoles, none are as happy as me. I alone have this well. How perfect! Why don't you come see?" The sea turtle put in its left foot, but its right knee got stuck. It hesitated, pulled back, and told the frog about the sea. 1,000 miles are not enough to describe its size. 1,000 fathoms are not enough to describe its depths. In use time, 9 years of floods didn't raise it. In tense time, 7 years of drought didn't lower it. Unchanged by time, unaltered by rain, that is the sea's greatest joy. The whale frog was stunned and lost. "No, your knowledge is not enough to know right from wrong. Yet you want to understand Zhuangzi's words like ordering a mosquito to carry a mountain or a worm to race in a river. Impossible. Your wisdom can't grasp his mystery. Yet you chase small victories. Aren't you just like the whale frog? Zhuangzi's thought reaches heaven above and the underworld below in every direction, free and unobstructed, deep and immeasurable. You try to probe it with observation and debate like looking at the sky through a bamboo tube or measuring the earth with that. Oh, how petty! Leave now. Have you not heard of the boy from Shuling who went to Henan to learn to walk? He failed to learn the hidden way and forgot his own, so he crawled back. If you don't leave quickly, you'll forget your own skills and lose your learning. Gong's long small fellow banana wouldn't close. His tongue rose and wouldn't drop. He fled. Zhuangzi was fishing by the Po River when the king of Chu sent two ministers to deliver a message. The king wishes to entrust the state's affairs to you and trouble you with them. Zhuangzi held his fishing rod without turning his head and said, "I've heard there is a sacred turtle in Chu that has been dead for 3,000 years. The king keeps it in a bamboo box, covered with embroidered cloth, treasured in the ancestral temple. For this turtle, is it better to die and leave its bones to be honored, or to live and drag its tail through the mud?" The ministers said, "Better to live and drag its tail through the mud." Zhuangzi said, "Go away. I too will drag my tail through the mud." He was prime minister in Lian, and Zhuangzi went to visit him. Someone told Zhuangzi has come to Lian. He wants to replace you as prime minister. He panicked and searched the capital for Zhuangzi for 3 days and 3 nights. Zhuangzi went to see He and said, "In the south, there is a bird called the Yuanchu. Do you know it? It flies from the South Sea to the North Sea. It will not rest except on the wutong tree. It will not eat except the fruit of the bamboo. It will not drink except sweet spring water." Just then, an owl found a rotten rat. The Yuanchu happened to fly overhead. The owl looked up at the Yuanchu and gave a cry of anger. "Ha! Now do you also want to use your Liang state to cry ha at me?" Zhuangzi and He were strolling on the bridge over the Hao River. Zhuangzi said, "The minnows swing so freely and leisurely, that is the joy of fish." He said, "You are not a fish. How do you know the joy of fish?" Zhuangzi said, "You are not me. How do you know that I don't know the joy of fish?" He said, "I am not you, so of course I don't know you. And you are not a fish, so you don't know the joy of fish. That is completely certain." Zhuangzi said, "Let's go back to your original words. You said, 'How do you know the joy of fish?' Since you already knew to ask me, I know it right here, on the bridge over the Hao River."